And we are live again on the airwaves. I think we're on both YouTube and Facebook. And we're here at the Institute of Caribbean Studies, headquartered in Washington, D.C., having a conversation with our Caribbean people around the world, wherever they are, on United Nations MSME Day, and M meaning medium, S meaning small, M meaning micro, and E meaning enterprise. And our theme for today is resilience and rebuilding. We just came off a session on firing up your elevator pitch, but really focus around the business value and culture that's going to drive the elevator pitch of your company. And many people focus this on the words, vision, mission, but we didn't focus in on what it is you're trying to, what is the ecosystem or the space in which you're going to live out this vision and mission you have for your company. Now, we're going to be joining this closing session by Ms. Chantelle Allen. And again, our moderator for today, Dr. Melon, will be leading the discussion. And so without further ado, I'll ask Dr. Luncheon to join me. Hey, here you are. Welcome back.
Thank you so much.
I understand that we have the issue of science meets business. As an engineer, I'm really interested in how we make science a driver for business. One of our speakers said this, I think, was it on last week, Thursday, June the 23rd, in our prosperity agenda, or it may have been before that. They have never heard of many lawyers or
yes. You can't lawyer your way to prosperity. You need science. Yes.
Yes, right. So we can't lure our way to prosperity. We need scientists. We need entrepreneurs who are using science. We can't just keep on reselling and trading the same things over and over again. So we have a country where we sometimes have many people in the marketplace selling the same oranges and tomatoes, and nobody thinking to make dried tomato or orange marmalade in order to diversify. So with that, I invite you to bring on our guest, Ms. Chantelle Allen.
All right. So Chantelle Allen has been a friend of mine since I was year high. And if she tells the story, she adds some more parts to it. But Chantelle and I have been friends for a very long time. And she actually is a scientist. She's got a degree in chemistry. And then she went into nursing. And actually, Chantelle, tell us the story. Welcome.
Okay. Thank you very much. I have to make sure I call you Dr. Amala Luncheon, Chantelle. So my name is Chantelle Allen, and as Dr. Luncheon said, I'm trained. I have a bachelor's in chemistry, and I worked as a nurse for a lot of years. So basically, this is how we're going from science meets business.
Right.
Basically, I just saw a space where I wanted to develop products that were very safe and very natural, that were very specific to solving problems for women in the beauty industry. The important things to women are obviously our hair and our skin. And so my goal was to use my knowledge, one, of science to formulate the products, and two, from a nursing perspective, to develop products that are very safe for obviously the whole family, but mainly my products are bought by use in the beauty sector.
Okay. So I know that you have a couple of different things. So you have butters, you have elixirs, and now I'm kind of stuck there. But I know butters and elixirs, and everything that you make. In your presentation that I heard last Sunday, the opening line is, "There's no water in here." Tell us why that is important.
So the important thing for my products, and the reason why there's no water in any of my products, is because products with water have to be preserved, because water is a breeding ground for microbes, basically bacteria, fungus, parasites, mold. And the important thing is, if you would notice on products, they're always saying no parabens, no sulfates. And that's because a lot of the chemicals that are used to preserve products are some of the offenders, some of the things that we really don't want in our body and on our skin or near our hair. or
Right.
scalp. So basically, that's the reason. I have to research, obviously, to find the safest preservatives if I'm going to use any of those in my products. And the main thing is that my products should be safe. They shouldn't be cancer causing. They shouldn't have sulfates. They shouldn't have parabens. They shouldn't have anything that effectively could penetrate into your skin or through your pores and be harmful to you.
Okay. So your skin really is not as safe a barrier as we would like to think it is, based on what you're saying. Your skin is wide open then.
So basically, a lot of products that were used in the past, they really were not the healthiest in terms of penetrating the skin barrier. And basically, some products are known to be cancerous. And mainly in my line of products, I want to be able to say that these products are safe. They don't have unhealthy preservatives or hazardous preservatives. And also, I don't want to not preserve my products enough where that causes problems too. Because, we have natural is the new trending products. But in terms of natural products that have water in them, they can be dangerous too if you don't preserve them well. Because it will be wrong basically for things that like, mold, bacteria, different things. Because products with water, it's, water is one of those things where obviously a lot of bad things can grow in it if it's not well preserved and sitting on a shelf for a long time.
So how does one know if something that has water is bad for them? Like, let's say I have a product and, I figure, okay, this shampoo, I've only had it for 2 years. Maybe it says that it's not expired or whatever. And I am going someplace and I decide to take it. I haven't used it for a long time because I've been going to the hairdresser or whatever. Now I'm going to use this thing. How do I know that this is still an effective product and, it wouldn't cause me harm? Or do I not know that because it has water in it?
I would say most products will tell you their shelf life and they're preserved to stay for a specific time. And they do have expiration date. And maybe you should check for it. Some products, they might have a 2-year shelf life. And after 2 years, you wouldn't be able to use it because it's going to cause you some problems. If the product should be, products should be labeled. They should carry specific labels that tell you, okay, in the ingredients list, yes, they have water. And most of them, you'll find some kind of preservative. And the manufacturer should tell you, and in most cases, I think they do, what's the shelf life of your product. So that you can make sure it's a safe product.
So in terms of shelf life, so I'm going to stay there for a little bit. Because your products are natural, does it have or do they have longer shelf lives than things that have preservatives, or would it be shorter?
No, I don't think they'll have a longer shelf life because preservatives are part of what is giving products longer shelf lives. But in terms of ingredients have shelf lives too. And so most ingredients that you're mixing with your product, you're going to get obviously the spreadsheet that's telling you exactly how long products are good for. And in terms of that, you could determine basically how long your shelf life is going to be. But natural products do not have longer shelf lives than products that have water or are preserved.
Okay. All right. So tell us about some of the products that you have in the line. And I guess we could start with like the hair products.
Okay. So in my line, what I have are hair oils and body butters. And oils because obviously they're oil-based because I don't use water in my products. And each product is I like to say each product solves a problem. So our one product is a hair growth elixir, which was formulated to help to combat hair loss. And then we have products in terms of dry, itchy scalp, and of course, butters. And we're trying to do the main things that women are trying to combat.
Right.
Of course, we're trying to keep your skin elasticity nice and firm, get rid of cellulite, dryness, fade marks. Those are the basic things. There's a lot of common things that women want to solve are the issues we're trying to solve in the most natural way.
I like the fact that you had said last week when we spoke that sometimes people tell you you need one thing for your hair, something for your face, something else for your skin. Dispel that myth for us and tell us why that is not so.
So of course, you know that, like I said, I believe that's a marketing tactic.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tactic to sell products,
mm-hmm.
to have you believe that, you know, and most people really do believe that. They do believe, if, especially when I'm trying to market products to them, and I'm just like, I would normally say, you can use this for both your, you know, your hair and your skin. And people will say to me, no, skin products are for your skin, hair products are for your hair. But in terms of my line, because I'm making all natural products, and like I say, your scalp, your skin, your nails, your hair, it's all part of the integumentary system. You know, we learned in science that's our largest system, and the same things that nourish one nourish the other. And if you don't have any harsh chemicals, then they can be used for both your hair and skin.
Mm-hmm.
And for us who are part of the Caribbean, I think it may be an easier sell in terms of if you're living in North America, like for example, you know, us living in New York. It's probably a harder sell to people who are not accustomed to using coconut oil for, you know, for their skin, their hair. But for most of us who grew up in the Caribbean, it's probably easier because we're accustomed to the idea that one thing have many functions.
Yes.
And it's a lot of natural products. You can use it here, and you can use it on your skin, and you can use it on your soles, and you can use it on your elbows, and you can use it on your cuticles, and you can use it because it's really nourishing. And like one of the things I always say, what you nourish, flourish. And it's part of how I think about my line. We're giving you a lot of really premium, super rich nutrients for your whole integumentary system. And if you nourish it, more than likely you're going to see really great results.
Okay. Yes, I definitely agree with that. And I'm understanding the science behind why I should be able to use one thing in several different places. And, you know, I think it's really interesting. Tell us a little bit about where you get your products from. The natural
so in terms of raw,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so in terms of my raw material, of course, so a lot of my products have different butters and oils. I'm going to throw out some names. So for example, I have kukuwak butter, murumuru butter. All those butters are coming from the Amazon rainforest. So a lot of it is sourced obviously from South America, which I feel really good about being Guyanese. So yeah, in terms of ingredients, some are obviously coming from South America, and we have ingredients that are coming from places like India, Europe, just different places, Africa. It's just a matter of sourcing, you know. Of course, I have products that have shea butter. It's coming from Ghana. So the products are coming from different regions.
Okay. All right. And then, of course, as you said, things have different shelf lives, but then when you put them together, because you understand the science of it, you understand what works with what. Something that you had said last week that I think is incredibly important, and it blew my mind after you said it. You said you spend a lot of your time reading scientific journals so that you understand what is current in research, and you understand what I guess chemicals people are mixing together to make things, and so you see, you know, what is hot and I guess hip and happening, and so that drives your process. You know, so tell us a little bit about what that looks like from the designer end of it.
Yeah, so it's really important, and I guess just having a science background and having a nursing background to really be current, but also to have science support what I'm doing. So I spend a lot of time searching, especially clinical trials. They do a lot of trials on beauty, on hair growth and skin, because these are industries that are obviously multi-million, probably billion-dollar industries, and having products that work obviously allow you to do better marketing and make more money. So obviously it's business. So
no, I think that is important, and for me it really did, you know, make me think, you know, yes. So I know for sure that you are. I have a question in the chat here. Is she manufacturing in the region? No, she's manufacturing out of New York. Is she selling in the USA only? No. She has a website. Well, tell us about your website.
So yes, I have a website. It's called melanindian.com. And it's named very specifically because my name represents, who I am, a melanated woman who is Caribbean, specifically from Guyana. And so I like to think that just the way they have Trinidadians, they have Melanindians, just the way they have Guyanese, So a Melanindian is, the people who use my products, they are Melanindians. And
Right.
I'm selling in the US. I also sell, obviously, in Guyana. I have distributors in Guyana who sell for me. And basically on my website, you can buy, worldwide.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But predominantly US, Guyana, and Toronto and Canada.
Okay.
And I would love to be everywhere in the
What are some of the barriers that you had to overcome to be able to bring the product to market? Because I know you didn't start last week. So what are some of the barriers? If someone wants to start a skincare line, I know this line is probably about 5 years old.
Yes, 5 years old.
So how were you able to, what did you have to overcome? How did you get clearance to sell a product recommended as a hair product or a skincare product or whatever? How did we get to that point?
Well, the good thing is that that I live in New York. So barriers, there were none. Only barriers and limitations I could think about would be the ones that I place on myself. I mean, it's not as difficult to become a small business in I'll speak for New York itself, for New York. If you just think about it, there's lots of small businesses that are popping up.
Right.
A lot of people are moving from as part of, I would just like to claim that I'm part of the Great Resignation. So of course, since COVID, there's a lot of more small businesses. Yes. Because a lot of people are moving out of working for someone and into working for themselves. I had my business while I had an employer because I started it, and I'm just someone who always had a business. I like to think about myself that I was always an entrepreneur, and everything else was just expectation. When you go to college, you choose a major and you work for someone, and that's just expectation. It's just part of your raised to be educated and to work for someone. But I have always been an entrepreneur and always sold something. But now what I've done is to transition from being an employee to being someone who works for myself.
All right.
Oh, and I didn't answer a lot of most of what you said. The things that I did for my business, outside of obviously doing the research, formulating the products, buying all the stuff I need to buy to make the products, is to start the LLC and to trademark my name, the company's name. Yeah.
Okay. So if there is a situation, or have you ever had a situation where someone has said, oh, I used this, but it didn't do what it was supposed to do, or it caused me harm? Have you ever had a situation like that?
Well, I haven't had a situation where someone said it didn't do what it's supposed to do or caused them any harm. Okay. No, I haven't experienced those, and hopefully I never do. But as part of being an entrepreneur, there's always going to be a level of where you're going to need to help your client. You help your clients with whatever are their issues. I've had other issues in terms of maybe the product, because I sell products in glass bottles specifically for a reason,
Yes.
I've had issues where stuff is broken, and just the regular customer service you'll do. And my motto is that my clients are always they're always right. And what I'm trying to do is to make sure that when they purchase something from me, that they're always satisfied. To the extent where I actually have a preference to lose money than to have a dissatisfied customer.
Okay.
And you're selling natural products, especially in the summer, when you're selling natural butters, if they're truly natural, they're susceptible to the effects of the temperature. And so when you're, even when you're, you have to gauge the weather well. And when you're shipping, you have to ship with ice or, some kind of barrier.
Preservation.
I've had issues where I've sent something to Atlanta or somewhere and it completely melted. And obviously I have to reship at a loss to myself.
Yes.
But the main thing to me is that when people spend their money with Melon Indian, they should be satisfied with their purchase. And if they're not, I'll do everything in my power to make sure that they're a happy client.
Yes. One of the things that I like is that on your Instagram page, there are examples of people who have gone from having like severe alopecia to showing you in a couple months later, you have a lot of like before and after stuff. And people seem to willingly be, saying, hey, this is what's happening. No, I needed to tell you this, and, that kind of thing. So I think that is good feedback. In the first panel that we had today, one of the things that we discussed, well, the main thing we discussed really was digitization. So ensuring that your business grows, she said that digitization is actually the way to grow upward. And I know that you do a lot of stuff on Instagram, and you also have a website, and then people call you, they get stuff and so on. Tell us a little bit about growth and how something like digitization has actually helped your growth.
So, I do agree, of course, that you have to be in the virtual space, to be seen and to be seen by a lot of people. But I also believe in personal touch. And that I have, I'm not sure if that's what it's called, but I do have something called Bring the Store to Your Door. And where I do get together with a lot of people and do demos and testings. And I'm still someone who believes in personal touch. And I'm still someone who wants to speak with customers. And I'm still one who wants to be in a space with customers. So I'm trying to have a really good balance between virtual and actually being in touch with people. And I have a preference myself for actually engaging personally with my customers. And everyone knows already that like every day I go through all the stuff that they send me, showing me their pictures. And I really do like that personal interaction. But of course, social media and viral reels and influencers, those are spaces that can really grow your business. And I do agree that you have to participate in that space. And I'm obviously making more of an effort in terms of building out my digital space. In terms of having a website, of course, that's a necessity. It's a necessity, one, to make sure that people have somewhere to get all the information that they want to get about your products, and obviously my products, and also to be able to them. In social media, yes, I would like Melon Indian to go viral. So I think it's just necessary. And for me, the balancing act, because I don't actually want to lose touch of that personal engagement with people.
Right. So if you, well, I know we spoke before about being able to get into, actually you're in trials now with well, not trials, but you're actually producing for a hairdresser in Brooklyn, right? They wanted you to do their own line, it was?
Yeah, so I'm in there. They have the products in trials with their on their clients,
right,
for a couple of months, and we'll see where that goes.
Right. Okay. Because that I think is one place to certainly get that viral thing that you're talking about. If once a hairdresser posts something, then that it kind of goes from there. And I think one of the things that you are doing that is good as well is doing, like, you do your own hair on camera and you show people, hey guys, this is what I'm doing and whatever. And the fact that you have natural hair that has that bounce that you have there now, I think it really speaks a lot to that. So do you see yourself as getting into like a big box store, like let's say Ulta, or one of those places? Is that sort of a dream of yours, or would you prefer like a boutique kind of thing, sort of like Carol's daughter, maybe?
So for me, everything is on the table. I just feel like the sky is the limit. I really place no limitations on myself. I know, And even in terms of doing my business, I know people have a lot of things on their bucket list to travel here, you know, and they're like, okay, I'm looking for a challenge. And for me, this is my challenge. My challenge is just to see how far, as you know, and there's a lot for me, just being Guyanese, you know, being in the US, like I'm challenging myself to see how far can I go, and not in terms of working for someone, but how limitless can I make my life. So Ulta Beauty, anywhere, Macy's department store, just as big and as wide as I can grow my business is really my goal. There's just like really no limitations.
Okay. All right. And so earlier we had spoken about having goals and like a vision, a mission, and all of that. Are those things that when you started 5 years ago, you had written down, all right, I'm going to start a small business, or I'm going to go off on my own? Now we probably shouldn't say small if you wanted to go that big. But when you started, did you write things down, you know, with like a goal list and a, you know, set of things like that?
Definitely. I totally believe in manifesting, and I've written checks to myself. I've written, I'm in specific places. Yeah, I've definitely done it all. And I just realized that, in terms of being an entrepreneur, it's like so different from working for someone. It's like you just always have to be in such a positive space. Just have to always have just a really positive outlook, and just really believe like everything that you believe is really possible. So just, I've had it all. I could tell you some really weird things that I've done. I've placed posters in my ceiling over my bed, just literally saying, and this is while I was employed, speaking growth into this business, and just having that faith and belief that it's literally gonna be able to, because obviously pay my bills, because that's
absolutely
really a big part of being able to you know, have a micro, small, medium business. Is it going to pay the bills? Right. And of course, goal setting and manifesting is a big part of it, and just being like really, really positive in terms of your outlook. I mean, it's just like all of your space, you kind of, to a certain extent, have to keep the people, the space, everything really, really positive, because when something goes wrong, or if you fall, you really don't want to fall with it. You want to have something that you hold on to that says, okay, you know what, it is possible for me to accomplish what dreaming of or working towards.
Okay. And if you look back now, would you say that you have met the mark that you had set for 5 years? Because you're at 5 years now. Have you met that goal?
I am not sure, because I feel like I as much as I'm positive, I work with a lot of dissatisfaction, because dissatisfaction drives me. So I am not sure. I'm actually shocked that I'm actually so I must have met that mark, because the fact that I am actually not working for someone,
right,
means that definitely I don't think I had it as a 5-year goal. It probably was a longer goal.
Okay.
I think I expected to be employed. So I probably exceeded it a bit, but I don't like to say exceed at this stage, because I need to constantly just have that fire and just be driven. And, you know, content is a driver. Like, I'm discontented with this or that or the other. And it just find new solutions to move forward.
And so where do you see yourself in the next 5 years, now that you are where you are today?
So in the next 5 years, Amala, actually, my goal is just to have everyone on the planet know about Melon Indian, because so it's a really big goal. But you know what they say, aim high. So even if you fall short, you've got to be far, because part of the worst thing you could do is just set low expectations and meet those, because you really want to just exceed any expectations you can have. You want to exceed them, but the higher they are is the higher you're really gonna climb. And I know I was listening to someone's podcast recently, and they were talking about the problem with a lot of businesses is obscurity. And so my goal is just to have everyone on the planet, the big goal, know of Melon Indian. So my 5-year goal is to just have a lot of more visibility for my business, and obviously a lot more clients. I'm not even going to set the exact number because I don't even want to sound as, the things that I'm going to say and think is going to be so far out. It's going to be like me shooting to go past the moon. So I'm just going to say, I would like to be beyond even my wildest imagination.
So if you were to describe your growth strategy, what would it look like? How are you planning to grow? I know you said visibility, so that probably means a lot more visibility in terms of how you use Instagram. Are you on TikTok?
Yeah, I'm on TikTok.
Okay, so using TikTok and doing all the things that, as my partner likes to say, the people of the now time are doing. So those are the places that you actually need to be. What else is in that strategy? What is your growth strategy?
So for me, which is I'm gonna sound unconventional in a time where just being virtual is everyone's goal. Mm-hmm. But I don't want to be lost in the virtual world. What I know I cannot miss at is literally speaking to people in person. Right. Everywhere I go, obviously, speaking about my business, I always try to make that the first part of my conversation when I'm introducing myself.
Yes.
But also, I do a lot of things that are what people will say is archaic. I'm still doing flyers. I'm still, cold calls. Probably no one wants them, but I'm still calling people. I'm still doing email marketing. That's part of virtual. But literally, I still go to spaces where I have flyers and I'm handing them out. And I'm still, I'm still asking people to throw a product party for me. All those really unconventional ways.
Yes.
Like I'm just really into hacking it through. I don't have obviously the answers, but I'm finding them, as I go along. And I don't want to just be in a virtual space because I think there's lots of businesses in a virtual space, And
the type of product that you're selling needs to come out of that virtual space. So I agree. Having that sort of product party, I think it works. I mean, and that is why I wanted to talk to you, because I saw that and I learned a lot there. I'm like, okay, wait, how? Why are we putting water in stuff and we know that water is dangerous, So for me, I had questions after and I thought that they were things that should be shared. What I don't know is, are you a solopreneur or do you have others that work with you?
No.
In terms of production?
No, it's just me.
Okay.
So yeah, hopefully I'll scale. I want to scale slowly because I want to always be able to one, make the quality product that I'm making, and two, obviously I want to always be able to satisfy whatever is my customers needs. So, and in terms of scaling, I don't want to scale too fast. I want to be moderating the scaling. So I hope with time that I'm obviously going to have my own huger lab or warehouse where people work for me.
Right.
But as it is now, there's still a lot of customer insight that I gather from my company, from my products. And it's the reason why I do a lot of those demos and a lot of those testings, and I like to be able to be there to get a lot of feedback. Because for me, customer insight really, it makes for a better product.
Absolutely.
Obviously, you can't satisfy everything, but in terms of what I'm trying to do, I'm making products for the people who want those kind of products and get insight from, my specific group.
Yes.
Really important because I want to build a product that they want, because that's the important thing. You can have a business, but who do you have the business for? You have the business to use those products.
Yes.
And make sure it's to their standard, to their level, in terms of everything, price point, use, the way it's used, because people have their own limitations. And you can dream up in your head that I'm going to make it this way for them to use it this way. But human limitations are the way people use products. I mean, it's going to help you to package in the way that helps those people to use it better. But there's just a lot of stuff in terms of customer insight and making sure you're just really satisfying your core group. And for me, that's what it is.
Mhm.
I want everyone to know about me because I want obviously my core group to grow larger, but it's just geared to by that core group that really wants it.
Mhm. How many different products does Melon Indian have?
Right now, I think I have. Why don't I know this answer right off the top of my head? Probably about 10 different products. It's I think it's about 10.
Okay.
10 different products that are out here in obviously the beauty sector, but specific things. Not just simple things like, oh, we're just gonna style or we're just gonna wash.
Right.
It's just about a lot of nutrients and a lot of nourishment so that we can obviously hold back the aging process.
I like that part too when I heard it. I'm like, wait, hold back aging? Okay, this is good. But none of the things are actually for, they might be for styling, but what you have are, I said elixirs and butters. Is there another formulation? Is there a cream? You have a cream?
No. Most of it is butters, just the consistency may change, be a bit different.
Yes.
But but most of it is really butters in terms of the solids,
Mm-hmm.
the butter. Yeah, because they don't have water. So they are really based in butters. But like I say, all of melanin products are actives. There's no fillers, emulsifiers, stabilizers. There's none of those. Everything is just formulated to give you the most potent product to nourish your hair and skin to make sure that you can hold back aging as much as you want to and to heal the things and to fix the things that you want to, because we are creatures who obviously aspire to always be beautiful. Like it's just a part of just being human. Just we're all pretty vain, man or woman. We want to look good.
Because you have men who are looking for products for male baldness. You have people who are looking for things because they might have a mark on their hand, like from a burn or something. You have people who are looking for products to make stretch marks disappear. People who are trying to make cellulite disappear. People who want to have their edges. Edges are a big thing. Yes, people want to have their edges laid. People who want to have thinning hair grow. People who've had, one of the things that I thought was really nice, not just nice, but important, where you had someone who'd had cancer and then she was using your product and she was so happy that her hair was growing back in a healthy way from using the hair growth elixir. And I think something like that sort of brings, I would say it would bring joy to me. So I can only imagine as someone who's created a product like that to be getting those videos and the person is excited to share with you, I think that is actually quite nice. Have you considered?
Yeah, that person, she's actually a hairdresser. And,
she is? Okay.
Yeah, she's a hairdresser. And what you spoke to there is really a big part of why I create the products that I create. Because for someone who's had cancer, what I don't want to give them is something that have a lot of chemicals that, possibly harm them. So someone like that, I could feel really confident having her use a product, that I created. That's just all natural.
Yes.
It's a natural product. She doesn't have to have the fear she may have to have if she's using something that have, chemicals or something that could be, a bit hazardous, because there's a lot of stuff in some of the products that, if you think about it, is dangerous. Just recently, because obviously when we use relaxers, we had the problems with it's affecting our hormones.
Yes.
With the braids, I just recently saw something, and I can't speak like a lot on it, but just the fibers that the braids are made with, some of those are like so dangerous. And so people, even when you're wearing braids, you literally should research what your braids are made of, because of some of the synthetic braids, they're actually made with chemicals that are cancer causing. So
and then what you're doing is putting it right next to your skin.
Exactly.
And allowing whatever it is to seep into your skin. And I guess for some things, it probably doesn't matter the point of entry, but it's now in your bloodstream. And so,
yeah, that just shouldn't be. You just shouldn't have it. You shouldn't have it near your skin. You shouldn't. And most times for us, and if you think about the demographic that wear braids, you know, it's enough color.
Yes.
Most Afro women.
Mm-hmm.
Than to have something that is obviously unhealthy.
Yeah.
And when we keep them in for an extended period of time. And to just think that we're aspiring towards beauty, but beauty can be something that can cause us, you know, harm in terms of our health in the long run.
A lot of times we don't consider these things, but we would go with things that have you know, they're made in a situation where you would have preservatives and, you know, the water and whatever else, but it comes from a big label. And so we take it because, as you had said earlier, marketing. So marketing tells us, you know, whatever. Now it's cool for people to say these products are not tested on animals. So you've brought in another element. You haven't tested it on animals, but is it really as, you know, efficacious as it needs to be? So, you know, I don't know. So
you, Ala, what I want to say, which is like really important for me to say, really important for a lot of us to enter these spaces in terms of manufacturing products for ourselves.
Yes.
Because you know, I feel like it's really important because of some of these issues where we're getting products that are totally coming from some space where it's about money, not about the concern for our, because we may just be dispensable in you know, in just the manufacturing.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. So melanated people should definitely, you know, you don't exactly have to have your own business, but be at the table in terms of you know, some of the companies, and in terms of support too. You have to literally like read. You have to read and understand what you're purchasing with your money. I mean, your money is power, and you should definitely know what you're purchasing, and you should purchase people who care. Purchase from companies that care about your health. The least is my health. Did you know what I mean? So
you're saying that, and I'm thinking,
trust your product.
You're saying that, and I'm thinking, people who make quote unquote bush medicine, they tend to say they care about my health. What they're not doing though, they're not in spaces reading journals where things are being tested, because what they're cooking up in small islands and in other places, these things are not going through a clinical trial where you are looking at the clinical trial and you're figuring out, you know, what these things are. You know, you're reading things that are happening now and, you know, figuring, okay, these things work well together. Yes, I see why they would put this together. Someone who is mixing herbs, you know, and whatever those herbs are, they are probably not going through something that has come out of a clinical trial. Well, not probably. We know they're not, because now we're figuring out, you know, what things from in the Amazon and wherever work well, you know, in terms of the bushes. So those that's actually an interesting thing. Get a seat at the table so that you understand and you can stand up for. One of the things that I would advocate for is perhaps getting into those clinical trials. And that's one of the reasons that I wanted to do, there was this new, I want to say a colon cleanse test. I was trying to get into a clinical trial for it, because they're not generally testing on people like me. So I take whatever is already on the market, and it may not necessarily be chemically formulated to deal with me, you know? So I do advocate for people getting into clinical trials. Maybe not in the way that you are thinking, but you know, how I'm seeing it. Get a seat at the table. It would be a start.
Get it, definitely. In terms of spaces where, you know, it's not the normal space for Afro people or melanated people or certain people, because we're not part of big companies.
Right.
And so we're not represented, you know,
Yes.
when sitting there to formulate something, you know, in terms of our health may not be, you know, the thing that you say, okay, you know what, these fibers, they are totally unhealthy for human beings. And we shouldn't make products that
Right.
that are
That
dangerous.
use those, yeah.
But
Yeah.
the idea that you're making products for someone who does not look like you, maybe it's easier. Maybe, you know, you sleep better at night saying, you know what, I'm richer, but you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, okay, it's for those people, because, you know, it's really always easier to harm others. And unfortunately, you know, black people sometimes we're not educated consumers. Not all of us, you know, I don't want to put all of us in the box. But we have to be educated consumers and know what we're purchasing.
And it's not just consumers, though, because you find now with some of the social justice movements, you realize it is not just consumers, you know. And a little bit of a segue, because I read a very sad story today where Democratic Republic of Congo, they are preparing to receive the one tooth that was left from Lumumba when he was he was killed, then he was buried in a shallow grave, then he was exhumed, chopped up, put into a barrel with acid, and his body disintegrated. And he had a gold tooth, and they kept the gold tooth sort of like as a prize. So the Belgian government flew that gold tooth back today, and that's the only thing being buried in this coffin. And I read that with such horror, because I mean, growing up as a Guyanese, I mean, we're familiar with Lumumba because he was close to Burnham and whatever, you know, so we knew of him. And we know people named Lumumba after him. So, you know, but then to read it today again, I was like, wow, you know, so when you say that the concern is just not there, that story came back to mind immediately. And that is something that happened just a couple of decades ago, you know, because, you know, it wasn't in slavery time or anything like that, you know, so we need to get up and find out things about ourselves. And I like the fact that you have taken your science outside of the realm of just working for someone. Not everyone has that drive, because we generally don't teach our people how to be entrepreneurs. And, you know, this is a discussion that we would probably have over and over, because when you go to classes for entrepreneurship, generally, people don't look like us. We believe in that safe haven of getting a job, you know, and then you do something on the side. And when you're doing it on the side, it must always be a hustle. So that mentality is still there. So sort of leveling out and growing with it and expanding and having that, I want everyone to be a Melon Indian, is not, it's not innate for us. You know, it's something that you really had to learn. And, you know, I'm happy that your science has taken you to know where you can see yourself being on your own, having that time freedom, not having to look for work-life balance, but understanding that you can make a difference in the lives of women, and you are rewarded, you know, that personal satisfaction of seeing someone who is getting their hairline back, who their alopecia is regressing, because you understand, is it the DHT?
Yeah,
right, because you understand scientifically what that means. So, you know, I would like to commend you and wish you well in terms of going forward as we prepare to wrap up. We have 6 minutes left. I don't know if we have any questions from the audience, or if Dr. Nelson wants to come in at this point and help us wrap up. But I thoroughly enjoyed sharing here, because for me, it's you know, to know someone who's doing something that is impactful, I think it's actually fantastic. So I want to thank you for taking the time to talk to me today. I know you're on vacation, and thank you for taking an hour out of your vacation. You could be doing something completely different, but, you know, I'm happy that you took the time to talk to me on this important day because, MSME work is important, and this is how we get more people to be able to be independent, and then of course be financially independent, which I think is bigger than being just independent. But what we want to do is encourage people to continue growing their MSMEs. And so we were able to get out of the pandemic in a way that is more resilient, So Chantelle, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me today. And someone has put your website in the chat. Is melanindean.com. So melanin and then DEAN.com at the end. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. I thoroughly enjoyed our conversation. And I will let you get back to your vacation.
Well, yeah, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. It's really great. I feel like I was just having a girl chat.
Yes, exactly.
To share a bit of, my experience, which I, it was great being here. Thank you very much.
All righty. All right. Thank you so much.